Okay, the present. So one thing that we are looking into is the land telephone is actually disappearing, basically because it is very expensive. The infrastructure is not there at all, and the companies they don't want to invest in that. Actually, they're investing in the infrastructure, but for internet and cable purposes, but not the telephone. They created the government actually. Created telecenters so people could make their long distance and local calls, but also to have access to the internet as well. Some of the suppressors for the telephone was the monopoly that was created by Telmex with 90%. There's two competitors, Maxim and Axtel, with only 10%, but they basically focusing on internet services. Then in the middle we see the analog cell phone. Well, it is a big deal in Mexico right now, crime, because the cell phones can be, the analog cell phones can be cloned, and sometimes people who are in the postpaid contracts, they are charged for calls that they didn't really do. However, now with the digital phone, that doesn't happen. It's harder. So that actually crime was a accelerator for this technology, for the digital technology to happen. Also, one thing that is happening in Mexico right now is that there are a lot of kidnappings that are doing. Actually, in 2005, there were 276, and in 2007, there were 432. And the majority of these criminals use a cell phone. Why? Because it cannot be, they cannot be tracked because they use the prepaid service. So they buy a phone, and nobody knows who bought the phone, and then with the prepaid services, they can just recharge it, and nobody can really trace them. So the government is asking companies to do something about it, and we'll learn more about what they did. So far right now, they have the iPhone, Telcel, they have the Movistar is another company that is providing cell phone. Telcel is another one, which actually Texel and Telmex is the same thing. They're owned by the same person. And then we have Usacell and Unifone, which actually they just joined together. So actually there are 3 companies in Mexico only that provide cell phone services. And the reason why I put a duopoly is because actually between Telcel and Movistar, they have the majority of the market. Telcel with 80%, Movistar with 13%, and Usacell Unifone with 7%. So in the future, we are seeing a lot of changes. Right here, as you can see, this is what I was talking about. The government in Mexico has told the mobile companies that they have to create a database with fingerprints. So that means that you cannot have a cell phone unless it's registered, and they have to have your fingerprints and they have to have your address. And basically, that's gonna change in that aspect. The mobile money. What they do is that now they can use their cell phone to pay for a taxi, to pay for movies, to pay at a grocery store, to pay at a restaurant. And it's actually helping in a way because it can be connected to your credit card or to debit card. So crime right there was an accelerator because it's a big thing in Mexico. So people really want things that makes them feel safe. Another thing that is happening is that Usacell got this 3G telephone, and you can do Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Facebook, and I think it's called in English. So basically, you can do all of that on your phone. And it's also, you can do a postpay or you can do a prepaid service as well. Another thing that is happening is that now they're coming up with this telephone that it also has a projector. So basically, if you have a PowerPoint, and you have your pictures or whatever, and you want to show them to them, instead of showing them on your phone like that, you can just press a button and it will reflect right away on the wall. And that is going to be introduced very soon in Mexico, but they're working on it right now. Another thing that is happening, Telcel is collaborating with YouTube. So now people can access YouTube videos on their cell phone. Basically because as one market dies, another is born. Basically, they have seen that youth are a really good market there for social media purposes. Another thing that I was investigating is that I think that right now you can see certain videos, but Televisa and Telcel are working on a deal. Televisa is kind of like an NBC or something like that, a television station. So you can see the soccer games, and you can see the soap operas, which are really big thing in Mexico. They also created a melate. What that is that you buy this card, you have your cell phone, you enter the numbers, and you can play your lotto there. So you don't have to go to a gas station, you don't have to go to a grocery store, you just play right there. So this is pretty much my presentation. And in conclusion, basically there were three things that happened here. One is that the disruptive technology happened between the telephone and the cell phone. The cell phone being the disruptive technology, and there's a lot of innovation happening within the cell phone technology. And in elements of the communication, how that impact the Mexican society, I think the cell phone gave them a sense of safety in a way, because now they can have something to communicate with and not that expensive. So any questions?